the rock. You physically couldn't hold me, I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready? Who ready?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Good evening. How are you?
Fine. I don't know if Black Man told you. Dante, he'll join us shortly. He got off of work later, so he'll be joining us shortly. So
once again, the ball heads, we lead in, we overtake, we dominate. So
well, when he come in, it'll be 3-1 when he come in. So I have to be by my lonesome. But what's up, everybody? Appreciate y'all for joining us for the one-on-one sports show, and I believe we got some good topics. I know we got the main, the popular topic with the NFL playoff action. But then there's some NBA stuff I wanted to get to during the show too. So let's go ahead and start it off, and let's just start off with these two conference titles games that we witnessed this past weekend. Chiefs versus the Ravens and the 49ers versus the Lions. Both of them was good games, but both of them, they had, I say one of them had an underperforming performance, and the other one had what was, I don't know if you would call it an underperforming or it was a giveaway. But we'll start with let's start with the 49ers and Lions game. Okay. That's the one I was referencing as a giveaway because the Lions had control of that game.
Right.
Especially on the ground. They was running the hell at that ball against the 49ers, which was surprising because 49ers could not stop them. I believe in the first half, the Lions had over 140 some yards on the ground.
Right.
In the first half, I think they ran the ball like over 20 times.
Right.
In the second half, and not even getting to the questionable fourth down calls by the coach, they ran the ball for I think 7 times by the running back, and I think there was one that was not a running back, but 7 to 8 times by the running back the whole second half.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that Jahmyr Gibbs fumble just scared them to death, but they could, they didn't want to run the ball no more. But yeah, it was definitely a game of two halves. 49ers just looked out of sync the first half, and then they came alive the second half, but it was definitely helped by some questionable fourth quarter calls. If they would have just had a field goal, those 6 points, because they ended up losing the game by 3, they was chasing those 6 points the rest of the game.
Right.
And then there was the last drive where the Lions knew they had to score 10. Well, they decided to run the ball at this time, and they kept the clock going. When I believe, because they had their timeouts, I believe once they got into field goal range, Herbert kicked the field goal. Because, the biggest thing you need is more time. You need more time.
But they never do that. They never. As long as I've been Trey, you can chime in on this. As long as I've been watching football, when you have a 10-point or 2-score scenario, I have never, ever seen a team kick the field goal first to save time. It's always like, I got to get the touchdown, and then if I get the onside kick or whatever, then we only need a field goal. I don't understand it. It doesn't matter if it's 7 plus 3 or 3 plus 7. It still adds up to 10 points. And I've seen teams do that for time immemorial. I don't understand it. And I guess they feel that, okay, we got to drive, we got momentum, we got them on their heels. Let's get the score because we don't know if we're going to get the onside kick, but you're going to have to get the onside kick anyway. So it has been a peeve of mine. I don't understand it. I've seen it done in Super Bowls. I've seen it done in other playoff games. It's a mystery to me. Why they do it, I have no idea of the logic in these decisions.
My only thought is, I guess once you get a touchdown and you do get the onside kick, okay, time is low at that time. So at that point, you don't have to worry about getting it all the way to the end zone. You can stop. You know, you can just make it to like the 45 if you got a strong leg kicker and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, man, I know there's times to do that tactic and times to go for the touchdown. That game they should have went for the field goal because they needed as much seconds.
If the game is under 5 minutes, you got to save time because you got your 2-minute warning, and I think they had to use some of their timeouts as well. So again, if you're under 5, then I think that's what you have to do. So, but again, no one does it. That's one of the biggest mysteries in football to me. Especially you get to the 35 or with the inside the 30, and you got, let's say, 3.5 minutes left or whatever it is. Kick the field goal right there on first down.
And at that time, you got them timeouts. Let your defense stop the offense and use your timeouts. And now, you probably gonna get a chance to get a legit at least a minute and a half of offense that your offense should be able to operate in.
Indeed.
I mean, everything y'all said is right on, because if you get down to that crucial time in the game, you're down by 10 points or more, you have to get the points as soon as possible. Hope your defense can get a stop, at least give you a minute or two to at least try to get a good couple of plays in, a Hail Mary, something. And I think, even with that, I think they've sort of messed up the excitement of the end of the game, because once they took out the old onside kick, you really have like a 5% chance of getting the onside kick now. It's not like, in the old days. So I think it's just a bunch of unnecessary rules in football when it's like taking out the kick, the ability to return a kickoff brings excitement to the game. And the onside kick is just, I don't know, it's just like, oh man, because you pretty much know the team's going to get the ball pretty much. I don't know how many onside kicks were recovered this year. And if they were, they would result of a player fumbling the ball. It wasn't like, we get on the pile up. Yeah, it's just sad to watch.
But again, if you take the points right away, you may not have to onside. If you score under 3 minutes left, you got timeouts plus a 2-minute warning, you can still play straight up. You can still get it back. But you waste so much time trying to get a touchdown and all that precious time off the clock. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. But I've seen, I've seen it all my life. I hate it. I just don't understand
it. And Dan Campbell will not kick a field goal. He's going to go for the touchdown. I'm like, dude. He
was like that all year for whatever reason, man. And I was like, okay, it didn't work the first time. Okay, you want to stay true to how you were all year the first time. Okay, fine. It didn't work. You was given another opportunity to kick a field goal to get your 3 points, and you decide to go for it again. Now you didn't make that one. Now you ultimately going to be down by 10. When that 3 points could have just have you you just went keeping up one score, and then you ultimately got the touchdown.
That's right.
But yeah, I was like, okay, you wanted to stay true that first time, but that second time, I mean, that's just he loves to gamble, Doc. I'm like, random analytics, man. And it's not baseball. Baseball, the only sport, and maybe there's some other, but as far as team sports, where I only have to watch a game, I can look at a statistics chart, and I can tell exactly how that player is. Right. Their stats are so detailed. Football, it's not like that.
Well, if I was going to give him that, first of all, I think the analytics across football in general. I mean, I've seen in the last 5 years more coaches going for fourth down plays, or from their, from inside the
that's how Brandon
inside
Staley
the 40.
This job.
Yeah, so I think the analytics are pointing. I think a lot of these coaches are going. You saw it in the Kansas City and Ravens game, where if you're on the 40 or 45 of the opposing team and it's 4th and 1, you're going for it. So I think that trend is definitely here to stay within football. The only grace I would give Campbell is, I think the plays he called worked. I mean, unfortunately, just the receiver just dropped the pass.
Reynolds.
So you drew up a play, But my thing is, because you were so dominant with the run. I mean, you were calling runs on 3rd and 12 and getting first downs with the run. And so now all of a sudden, you, like you said earlier, you go away from the run. You only run the ball 7 times in the second half. I did think that fumble, totally changed the their confidence in the running game. But he's talking about getting away from what we do. But again, that's still what you do. So even though the fourth down plays that you called, should have been first downs, but your receivers just let you down in that let you down in those moments. So I don't mind them necessarily going for it, but the execution, those players are going to have to live with that. But but yeah, I mean, especially the last one, yeah, take the points, and we could be having a very different conversation.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, it was an entertaining game. The running backs, and they got the news that Ben Johnson would be back with them next year. He declined any new head coaching spot. So, and I think, did they give him a new contract? Because the Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slovic, he was in the same boat. He declined too, so he's going back to Houston as the OC. So, and I think both of them got new contracts. So they felt like both of them felt like they, especially Johnson in Detroit, I feel like this is some unfinished business. Him and Jared Goff have some things working real good. He got these nice two running backs, and I think Detroit now, it is, especially in the AFC and that AFC North, where you had injuries to key quarterbacks that definitely took a toll on that division.
Right.
NFC North, I don't really look at it the same. I mean, I think Detroit, Green Bay is coming. It's going to be between Green Bay and Detroit, but right now I still think Detroit is the better team because they more balanced.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, so they should be competing for that division. I say at least the next 3 years. Yeah. Now getting all the way to the NFC title game, that's different.
Right.
There's some luck and opportunity and all that stuff got to match up, but.
Right, and the Vikings are so up in the air because again, what do you do with Cousins at this point? Do you bring him back? That's a bad injury that he's got. You pick a QB in the draft, so so they have some major decisions to make in terms of where they decide to go with their franchise at quarterback. So yeah, I can't factor them in, and we all know about the Bears.
I think the Bears they made the decision to go away from Fields. It's leaning more and more that way.
I
didn't get any. Yeah, I didn't get that. So he may very well still be in the mix, but at the same time, it's going to be hard if that QB from USC is still there. It's Caleb. It's going to be hard for them to turn away from that. But no one's. You would think. I mean, I'll wait until after this week because I know you had the Senior Bowl this past week. So certainly I think come February, certainly after the Super Bowl, you will get more clarity before the draft in April. So that's that one is probably, I think a lot of folks have eyes on that. And then again, if they do decide to move away from Fields, where does he go? That's a big question in terms of that. I mean, I could certainly see the Vikings going after Fields if they decide to move away from Cousins. I mean, that could be in the cards too.
And I guess before we move on, Cubs, just giving shout outs on these comments. What's up, KP? And grooming and reviews. Alexa saying, are we coming to a Super Bowl party? She's a Chiefs fan. I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to. Well, she in Texas. I'm in Texas.
Depends on what she's
tell her to FedEx me for whatever she's cooking.
Okay,
it'll be good by the time we get here. So now we talk about the NFC Championship game. Let's go on to the AFC Championship game.
Hey.
And my whole, because I chose the Ravens to win this game.
I'm the only one on this. I'm the only one on this panel who chose the Chiefs. Who chose the Chiefs? Let that be honest. I'm 1-1. I'm 1-1. But I'm the only one who chose the Chiefs.
Because I was, and you was right. Because you were saying like because of Mahomes and his pedigree, like you can't just count that dude out. Because I was looking at it like the Ravens defense was just so stout this year, and with the Chiefs offense, in particular the receivers, it was only one game. I mean, hell, you can throw Kelsey in there as well because he was inconsistent during the regular season. And all of a sudden, the first game of the postseason, they catching everything. And Kelsey's numbers in particular, I wish I had him in front of
11 targets, 11 catches. He caught every pass.
Yeah.
and he already has over 200 yards receiving and at least 4 or 5 touchdowns. Compared to
Yeah.
the last several games of the regular season, it was literally the opposite. It was literally the opposite, and he just turned his game just like a flip of a switch. And I'm during that game, and fast forward to the end of that game when Valdez-Scantling caught that pass to pretty much seal the game. When he caught that, I immediately thought of the drop, the big drop he had versus the Eagles. I say, well, you talking about night and day for this dude. He experienced the lows when he dropped that pass, and the highs when he caught that game-sealing catch and get sneaking out the backfield for that third down catch. But the big story coming out this game is the play or lack thereof of Lamar Jackson. So how do y'all feel about his performance?
It wasn't even the play. It was the whole offensive play calling. It was ridiculous. They did not utilize the strength of their offense. The strength of their offense is running the ball. It looked like he threw 15, 20 lateral passes. Bunch of BS. They did not go to the strength of their offense. I thought at least in the second half, they was going to make some adjustments and start running the ball. No, they still kept trying to pass the ball. And when Lamar has to pass like that, he's really not that consistent. They have to run the ball. You have to neutralize the Chiefs' defense. They didn't neutralize. They were just welding back and sending a rush every time. You have to run the ball. And they didn't make any adjustments. That's why they didn't score. That's why they didn't make any difference in the game.
I think them getting behind, I think the Ravens, to me, they're like bullies. They love to get ahead. And, and certainly all that run game, I think that sort of manifests itself there. But they got down early and, they just felt like, they had to play catch up because they're not a type of offense that is used to coming up.
But Mr. Bennett, on that point right there, they wasn't down like the 49ers were to the Lions.
They weren't down.
It was always close.
They were down.
Yeah,
KC just comes right out the game, takes the crowd out of it in the first half, and it should have been more than that. I mean, for them to be up 17-7 at the half, it should have been at least 24 or 7. That fourth down play, I thought if they would have got that on that 4th and 1, I think they would have definitely went in and scored. So they escaped going into half 17-7. But I think when they were down, I think that just threw a lot of the playbook out the window. Again, just like Detroit. Again, when you're down or whatever, or it gets tight, you go away from what you know. So again, I think the run game never got established because Mahomes just went down the field. I think he completed like his first 12 passes, and they were like, "Oh well, we gotta." Now we feel like we're in a track meet against these guys rather than just ground and pound and wearing it out. So I think that just totally threw them off. And they just didn't recover from that.
Mm-hmm. It was coaching. How you guys doing, man?
Hey, man.
Coaching on that. Let me tell you. You know what? When first of all, the very first drive, I said these guys are in trouble. They look kind of tight. Very first drive, because but when my man, the rookie receiver, got that taunting, and then he lost the ball in the end zone, that was game.
Yeah,
that was game. And to me, I said that's game. They're not coming. I said they needed that touchdown to just make it a game, and it was plenty of time left. Was that third quarter or beginning of the fourth?
It was either late third or beginning fourth.
Yeah, late third.
It would have been down.
It was a lot of time left. That game would have been close, and it would change the dynamics on both sides of the ball a little bit. I said that was it. That was so deflating. I said they're gonna lose. They're gonna definitely lose, and I was upset.
I think that's the Mahomes, but I think that's the Mahomes effect. Like I've been telling guys, Mahomes in these moments, you look at this, the only performances he had was against Brady. He had to beat Brady. He didn't beat him in the AFC Championship game a few years back, and then he didn't beat him in the Super Bowl. But he had to kind of get over that hurdle. And now that he's got it, he's not getting off it. You saw it in the Super Bowl last year. He makes you play as if you have to play a perfect game in order to beat him. And you saw a lot of uncharacteristic penalties, the headbutts, the guy who headbutt Kelsey. You saw the taunting penalty that was that Pain talked about earlier. He gets you out your game. and you just start playing differently from where you're at. So it's like Lamar, it's like, all right, check, I'm up 7-0. Now what you gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying? And he made some incredible plays. I mean, the touchdown pass that he did throw, I mean, I thought he was dead to rights. He used his athleticism to get away from that and then throw the touchdown, which was an incredible play. The other play where the ball got batted and he caught his own catch to make a first down. I mean, he did some very, incredible athletic plays. That's just on gifts. But Mahomes is like this. You got to stay up. Can you stay with me? I'm going to consistently do this to you. You'd be like, oh, I got to play different. So it affected the offense in terms of the not running the ball. It affected the defense in terms of again, the penalties that they had throughout the game at those critical junctures. And so again, but Mahomes, he's built for this. So he's telling Lamar, he's telling everybody, I am he. You have to beat me. To be the man, you got to beat the man. You got to beat me. And boom, I'm going to lay this joke on you. Now what you going to do with it? So he makes you play at a different level.
Mr. Bennett, listen. This was the lowest rushing total since 2022 for the Ravens.
Right.
It was all play calling. I don't care if they scored early. That's okay. Chiefs are going to score. But the Ravens never went to what made them who they are. They never ran the ball like they should have. And when they did run the ball, it was Lamar running the ball. It's different from him handing it off because the more they run it, the more they can go to their play action. They got to wait. It's like the coach wasn't even calling plays to really move the ball forward. You pass it on first down. You don't start panicking in the first quarter. What do you see in the fourth quarter? You don't panic. You score. You down what? You down 10-7. Okay, we in the game. Let's just do what we do. Run that down ball. Be consistent. We don't end the game with 81 rushing yards, and Lamar had probably 50 or 60 of them. They never even ran the ball like they should have. I didn't understand the play call. It's like, okay, we concede early in the game. No, you at home, you pound the ball. You have to neutralize Chris Jones now. Once he gets going full steam ahead, man, he's gonna tear down a brick wall if he could. So I just think it was just all bad play.
So let me ask you, here's another one, Trey Ferg. I thought that interception that Lamar threw in the end zone
at the end. Yeah.
Why were you trying to? I mean, they were moving the ball actually. Why are you trying
like
to
Mr. Bennett said, he was at that moment. He was trying to keep up with Mahomes. He just pressing. That was inexcusable.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. But at that moment, he was trying to do what?
He was trying to keep up with Mahomes.
He was trying to keep up with who? He's trying to keep up. And hold on, because I was sitting here, I was trying to be, real respectful and the lady that I am by letting y'all speak. And I was, but I was like, I got to jump in here first off because our Payne tried to skip over what happened with Zay Flowers. Yeah, he got that taunting call. Everybody taunt until that ball get punched out your hand. No, we ain't going to say, y'all want to say he just fumbled it. No, the best cornerback in the NFL right now punched that ball right out of his hands. That's what happened. That's what happened. Let's take the facts as it is.
Speaking of that play, do you fault? Because I was going back and forth with people on the internet about this. Do you fault Flowers for trying to make a play in the end zone? I don't.
Yeah, I do.
Because he was close to the end zone and he was nearly all he had to do was break the plane. And he was very close and he got to the ball right before he broke the plane. It was a hell of a play. But I was like, I don't. Because that don't happen all the time. That don't happen all the time.
You know what else? Don't nobody talk about who almost won. Oh, y'all is. Oh, my bad. My team been winning for so long. I just thought that was a conversation. Let me.
What I'm gonna say about that, Johnny. I'll put it like this though. Like, what's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all holding it down for me last week, and our traffic got me up. But I'll say this: I fault him more because he's trying to make a play. I fault him more for the taunting penalty. If you don't get the taunting penalty, then you run the ball in. But you letting the opponent get into your head. You make a big play. You did enough talking with the big play. You don't have to taunt him. That was a young young player's mistake that he will have to grow from. Like you said, everybody reaches the ball by the end zone. Like I've seen all pro receivers, reach the ball by the end zone and it slaps out. How often does it happen? Very rarely, but it happens. And so you got to give, was it Snead that knocked it out?
Yes, it's
So you got
Legarius
to give,
Sneed.
you got to give Snead his
Yes.
props for knocking it
But
out.
you know,
Uh-huh. The receivers usually
Don't be
get in
coming
the
over here
line.
bullying them.
Because I like Sneed. That's my new boo. Because Kelsey went over there to Taylor, so I got a new boo now. So I'm saying Sneed, who been giving every single wide receiver that we don't play that work. He done gave them all that work. All of them that work. Can we please put some respect on my dude's name? Stop it.
Don't be over here bullying us.
I swear. Listen, the only problem I have with my man with that reach, he didn't have the ball secured. He had it in one hand, kind of. If he would have had two hands on it secure, it might not have got knocked out. I just think that, I think so. I think he was.
No, I was saying, now you can't do that if it's not. That's the one thing. Like you can talk about being aggressive, but then there's times to know as a young player, hey, I got to be safe here. If I go and dive this out, but if I get tackled at the 4, then what's the likelihood Lamar gonna score, Gus gonna score, and Luke's gonna score?
He would have been at the 2. He wouldn't have been at the 4. He would have been at the 1 or 2. Yeah.
So you gotta be conservative there, and that's a part of championship pedigree. The other team on the other side has been the 6th straight AFC championships. They know that. This guy, first year in the league, you know that.
Speaking of, you saw the Chiefs came out and scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions.
That's right.
And then their defense had the Ravens under wrap. It's almost like you saw Reed just went to Mahomes, because after that, because the Ravens defense played very good. They kept them. Once the Chiefs got to 17 points, they didn't score nothing no more. But the Chiefs defense was answering the call. So Mahomes and Reed was like, man, that's when you pretty much immediately saw Mahomes turn to this game manager. You know how like people for whatever reason think a game manager is negative when it's not. But he turned to a game manager. He said, I'm not going to do anything to screw this up. You saw them like, okay, they ran the ball. They started playing the field position. Okay, we're going to punt. We're going to punt. We're going to put the game in the hand of our defense. And they kept delivering. And like I think Art Payne them said, man, once they got that fumble from Flowers, you immediately it was the fumble knocked their wind out.
Yeah.
But that interception, I think the interception by Lamar came afterwards.
It was after.
When he threw that pick in the end zone
in the game,
that you talking about all the air just went out. Yeah. Hell, Flowers over there hitting whatever he doing on the sideline, injuring his finger because he bashed in the.
That's right. He couldn't even come back in the game. He didn't come back in the game, did he? After that,
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to go because I go on another sports show and I just be bringing my female flair, and I just wanted to point it out the maturity of my quarterback, that he was able. Y'all want to be like, oh, they shut her down, or the maturity of my quarterback was like, you know what? I'm not about to stress ourselves out. We got some players out. We want to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm going to lean back, let my defense do what my defense do, because that's what my defense does. And then when you mentioned about him being a good game manager, the quarterback that got us to that, he just couldn't get us over it. But he was getting us there, which was Alex Smith, who was another awesome game manager. I remember that year, everybody was like, y'all need to get Smith out of there and hurry up and put the new boy in. And I was like, no, he sat behind Smith, which was good. That was really good sitting behind Smith for him. He coming into his own. Man, at this point, there's Patrick Mahomes and then there's everybody else.
Oh my God.
And I want to say, to stand on that point, I know I didn't wasn't here last week, but I want to say this. And I want to say Bomani Jones is one of the national people that say this a lot. Can we get the people to stop trying to take Josh Allen because of the physical gifts and the wild moments he gives? Stop trying to put him in that class. Burrow, they try to do it a lot. And they tried to do it a lot because he beat Mahomes once head to head. That was one time. And I love to say this point because y'all all seen Little Giants. Hey, bro, you beat him up the hill. You beat him up Cherry Hill one time. All the other times, Mahomes beat you. Well, I guess in his case, Burrow feels like, oh, I beat him in the regular season. But in the AFC Championship, you went 1-1. But when he gets to the Super Bowl round, well, he's lost one time and now he's going for his third. So nobody, like I'm with you, Alexis Texas. Sometimes, hey, you be rowdy about the Chiefs, but you have every right when you go to the Super Bowl again and have a chance to go back to back for the first time since 03-04. Stop putting the other guys in his class. It's clear, like
Please
it's him.
don't.
They literally built a defensive team with one weapon who, let's be real, either Kelsey to either schemed him out or he's regressing a little bit. So you have one confident weapon. I guess the second one is Pacheco, and the main one is Mahomes is driving the engine. And that's why, like, I know it's early, but I don't see the 49ers being able to beat them.
Wait. Cause Double R is coming up, and Double R, that boy, next year, Double R, I said he gonna be a fool with it. He gonna be a fool with it. Double R, that's my nickname for Rasheed Rice. If y'all didn't catch it,
Rice is coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He had to develop. I want to say he got close to 1,000 this year. I think next year was coming, but going into the year, it was just like we got a rookie. You don't know how it's gonna go, and everybody else was a question mark. And then still, like Mahomes made it all the way to the Super Bowl. If this was Brady doing this, I think it would get a little bit more flat because you like Brady was known for getting here with this player and that player. Mahomes started with the great offensive weapons with Hill, with Kelsey, and you know the other complement of guys. And now it's kind of like, okay, those guys are gone. My big extension is kicked in, and I'm back in the Super Bowl. And so now you can, if you want to go cheap, they can draft other weapons. And it's just like you got to give hats off to him, just like you got to give hats off, you know, to the other team on the NFC side. That I don't know if y'all talked about this one, but yeah, you got to give a team.
Hang on, since we got Alexis on it, Alexis, I gotta ask you, since you are the Chiefs fan residence, I didn't know you and Reckless, I'm sure be trading notes with one another. Reckless Ray, because he lives in KC. So, but in any event, now I'm hearing that especially if Reed wins, this might be Andy Reid's last Super Bowl, or he may retire after this. What do you think about that? How likely is that?
Who you hear that from?
I'm saying the same thing.
There's a rumor.
Not a national radio.
Okay. Like I said, let me get in my female bag. Andy Reid talked to me personally. He was texting me early. You feel me? Like as long as we got Mahomes and as long as he's breathing, and he said even if he got to bring the respirator machine, he is going to be coaching. You know what I'm saying? The Clark family already said they'll have his wheelchair and the whole setup, the whole nine if they got to. You know, it's nothing. It's nothing. Ain't nobody hearing that talk. They want to so bad. I think they want to create that narrative so bad, especially because Bill Belichick is moving on and doing. They want to create this little narrative. This is a moment when I be like, hey, you know, stay out of grown folk business. Mind your business.
You know
We in
what?
the Super Bowl, baby.
I agree with her. You know why? Because I think Andy Reid has given everything he has to the game already. His sons, his family, everything. There's nowhere for him to go.
No, he gonna retire.
He's not going anywhere.
I think the only reason it's coming out because you literally watching like this old regime of head coaches phasing out. Belichick, Pete Carroll, Andy Reid. Yeah. Well, Mike Tomlin is in that, but he's younger. But his long tenure with the Steelers kind of put him up there with Andy Reid. But Andy Reid, as far as his age, is like the last head coach. Basically, what's his name? Mike McDonald. The Seahawks just signed today. He's the youngest head coach now in the NFL at 36. And that's almost – I remember when Sean McVay was – I think he was 32 when he became head coach. It was a big deal. But now you're seeing a whole lot of 30-year-old head coaches coming into the league. And that's just the way the league is moving on right now. And the only ones who are still in it are the ones who actually have years and just investment by their – respective franchise, and that's Tomlin and Reid. So I think both of them, if they can lead that franchise when they choose to leave, ain't nobody releasing them.
Probably even the Ravens coach also. He's been there for a minute.
Yeah. Harbaugh in the same boat. He in the same boat. Yeah.
I'll say this last thing about Patrick Mahomes. It just shows the greatness of Patrick Mahomes because relatively the receivers that he came with, they were just average receivers. I think Kelsey was a year or two before him. Hill came a little bit after, but Patrick Mahomes is making all the receivers who they are. They can plug anybody into their receiving core. And with Patrick Mahomes playing quarterback, he's going to give you an 80-90% chance of catching the ball. He's going to put that ball in a facility where you can catch it. Not a lot of quarterbacks can do that in the history of the NFL. And he can read defense. And he ad-libs better than anybody. He don't look like he can run, but it seems like he always picks up 10 yards every time he runs the ball. I don't care. He's 10 yards first down. But
he gets it done. It doesn't matter. He's bad ankle. I mean, the last year in the Super Bowl.
Another reason why I was mad at Lamar is that he had a chance to get a first down and he slid.
I don't want you to.
In the beginning of the game, he made that slide before. I mean, I don't know why he slid. He lost a lot of yards. He was trying to get that on the first drive. He made that slide. I said, come on, man. Try to get that first down, man. What are you? And I just said, oh, no, this is going to be a long day.
You cannot go away from your strengths.
You know what I was hearing about Lamar? They were saying Lamar, which I think is probably true because I remember him doing that in Louisville, and then also in his post-game interviews, he feeds into it. Lamar plays in a way that he tries to silence the critics.
Yes,
because they always want to say he's a running back, and then in his post-game interviews, he's always saying not bad for a running back. So you know it's on his mind. And this past game, because he's so focused on, I want to prove that I'm a legit quarterback. Dude, you're a legit quarterback. But what you have, pretty much almost better than almost any quarterback in the NFL history, your legs, even better than Vic. Hell, at one time, there's a point in the time in the game where you know if you use them legs on a regular basis, you can dominate a game. And like Trey was saying, like if that's your strength, and this is do or die. You can't. It's no next week. Damn it, use them legs. That's what God gave you, this ability that you can run and pretty much.
The postseason is when you should use it. Like I've seen it from other quarterbacks that can run that aren't as good with their legs. They run more in the playoffs. Mahomes is one. Like you'll see him, and other times he'll kind of throw the ball away and stuff. But it's like it's playoff time. Bad ankle, whatever, he's gonna get it, and that's one of the things is he knows when to go and go up and make a play. Other quarterbacks do as well. You saw Purdy; he was making plays with his leg and scrambling and running around. You got to do whatever you can. It's all It's all you got to go all in and do everything you can.
Because it was one play by Lamar where he literally broke. He broke, but then he kind of slowed down. I was like, no. You fast as hell. Use your speed. Outrun this defender, but he slowed down and try to stiff arm him or try to break for the tackle.
This guy, man, do something.
It's manifested itself. It's manifested itself before. I mean, Cam Newton would have won that Super Bowl had he ran and used his legs. But he got into that also that he was trying to prove he was trying to be a pocket passer in the Super Bowl. But again, you saw the NFC Championship game against the Cardinals. He used his legs. He ran, so again, if you would have did that, because again, the defense played solid enough to win that game, but he went away from it. So I think, for a lot of these, for a lot of the black quarterbacks, they think that they got to do something extra that they didn't have to do. Russell Wilson won that first Super Bowl using his legs. I mean, he didn't overperform, but he used his legs when he needed to. So so in that moment, if you want to save it, that's the time when you need to use everything. That's just play what's in front of you and just, take what they give you and don't worry about I got to make this perfect. I got to make a statement or whatever. Just win.
Because Lamar uses legs, he literally puts the fear in opposing defenses.
Except the Steelers.
He does not want to
be defensive borders up at night.
Except the Steelers, though. 2-4 record against the Steelers.
Well, because y'all division rivals. Y'all see them twice a year, and I believe that's very understated with teams, especially with the Cowboys and the Eagles. If a team sees you twice a year, they know what you're gonna do a lot of times.
Even like
mono and mono.
Yeah, even in teams, it's like even if you're so much better than the team, they see you so much, the familiarity. It's like they'll sneak up and get you in them games where it's like, they weren't supposed to win that one.
Hey, Dante, I know you joined a little bit late, but before we move on, I want to get your thoughts on the we talked about the Lions and the 49ers earlier. Any other thoughts? One thing we didn't talk about was, again, I think that catch off the deflection that put
Ayuk.
Ayuk can put them in
That's-
score position. I think that was big too. So they came out and scored right away, and then they got that on the next. So I think that definitely took some of the momentum out of the game.
That took a lot of momentum out. And I'll say this: if we're talking about making plays and being who you are, that's one thing. I'm not just here to kill. I'm not here to overkill Coach Campbell, but Dan Campbell about the going for it situation, because you got it and the execution was bad. Like the receiver drops the ball, and you got it in situations where if you get this, then and my thing is you could have killed him for not kicking the field goal at the end of the first half. Because at that point, I think if they do go for it and score, I think that puts it a little bit out of reach. And then you get a little bit, as good as they were running the ball, then you get it to conservative mode. And you say, okay, let's eat some clock. And then they're a running team, so they're going to eat the clock and run the ball themselves, because that's what they do. They don't just throw and they don't do that. But the fact that it's tough for people to realize this, when you go to the championship or you win a championship, there is about a little bit of luck involved. And no 49er fan is going to be upset that the interception hit off the man's face mask and your guy caught it. And that's one of those things that's narrative changers. It doesn't matter, like we talk about Lamar, hey, you run, do whatever. It doesn't matter that Brock Purdy threw that by that guy's face mask. He didn't catch it.
But I think in that play, though, I think San Francisco would have been right there anyway, because they threw a flag. I think it potentially probably would have been a pass interference.
No, they caught it. I think I can't remember what
they picked
happened.
It up, but I think they didn't explain why. They
didn't explain why they picked it up, but it was one of those deals where it's like, oh, so it wasn't even a penalty. He literally just the ball hit him in the face mask. Your young running back fumbles, and it's just like they just absolutely.
So if he would have intercepted the ball, then it would have been going the other way.
Yeah, they would have been them backed up. I mean, they would have been backed up deep. But when you're trying to make a comeback, that's a huge blow. And I just think the Lions lost that game more than the 49ers won. But when we go back and look at this in 5 years, or for 49, I don't think they are, but if they do happen to win a Super Bowl, nobody will care. And so I think the Lions, this one's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt them, especially for a fan base and a franchise that's had so much misery. But my thing is, the way the NFC is shaping up, I don't think that Brad Holmes, which we talk about diversity hiring, look at what he's doing over there in Detroit. And, they brought the OC back. I think that they're a team that'll be back and definitely to be reckoned with, along with obviously Green Bay to win that division. But that sucks for them. It really does.
No, who it don't suck for? Okay.
Nah.
They slide over there on the NFC side. Yeah, y'all did that thing in that AFC. That with Lamar, he just didn't want to. I don't know if it was Lamar or I don't know if it was
I guess the OC didn't. The OC didn't. He
well, I put this. The OC didn't call the run plays for the running back. Lamar, when the scrambles and stuff, I think he could.
And I will say I didn't get to catch that whole one because I was at like a little like an 8 and under basketball game. So, but from what I could see and everything I heard on the radio, they had a good contain on him for the most part of the game, where it was just like they were playing for. It was like, if you're trying to run, we're going to contain. So some of it was.
Well, they saw what the Texans did in the first half. The Texans had success versus Lamar because they blitzed and then they had that spy, and so they basically, copycat league. So Chiefs did it. They have a better defense already, so they did it.
Yeah.
And
You know why? Because in Spags we trust.
I'm a running back, man. And I've coached football 20 years. Ain't no way in hell, unless I'm down by 2 touchdowns and it's 3 minutes and 5 minutes, fourth quarter, whatever. First and second down, first down, I'm always running the ball. I don't give a damn if you get back to the line of scrimmage. I'd rather take 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, and 2nd and 3rd and 10 when I'm just running lateral. I'm going to give it to the strength of my game. If the strength of my game is running the ball, we running the damn ball. Simple. That's going to open up the play action. That's going to give Lamar his advantage, where now he can spread the defense when he drops back, and now he can run the ball. But if you just passing flare outs and shit, that shit don't work in the NFL, man. Them players are too fast for that. No, we running the ball on first down. First and second quarter, that's all we doing is run the ball. I don't care what if we had the 2, if we had the other teams too. run the ball. Hopefully you might break, get to 3-4 yards, whatever. Okay, now we can open up offense. Now I might throw a screen. Now I'm gonna mix it up. I'm not just gonna come out passing no damn flyers and shit. That ain't getting you nothing in the NFL. This ain't high school. It's just me. Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree. Wasn't there a play?
Saying the same thing.
Wasn't there a fourth down play when the announcer? I don't know. It was one of the games. The announcer said they better be careful because if they get past the scrum, they might score a touchdown. Wasn't that the Ravens? Didn't they make a fourth down and then they tackled the guy, but he got a lot of yards? It was one of the games this week.
It probably was the Ravens. I think it sounded like something they were saying to the Ravens, but I'm trying to remember.
It was, I can't remember the exact play, but they almost, if he would have made one more guy miss, he would have had an open field to the end zone. And because that's right after the announcer said it. You know what game that was, Mr.
I think
Bennett?
it was the Ravens game. Yeah. I can't recall them, but yeah, it's starting to come up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I said, wow, that was close. I mean, that should have kind of made some people say, okay, we can move this ball. Mm-hmm. And I think Lamar, here's the difference, right? Forget about the plays. When the play started to break down, his instincts to run was hampered. You could tell he was hesitating, trying to look for the third and fourth option. But his game was, if I know, forget it. The first option is gone. The second and third option are a second and third option for a reason. I'm running. He didn't do that. And that's what bothered me. It was evident in the game. And let me also say, I think he's lost a step. I think he's young, but I think he's lost a step from that guy right out of Louisville. I think he's lost a step. Because some of these guys are tracking them down easier.
Well, I mean, both him, Tua. I mean, he's had some injuries. I mean, especially in the last couple of years, he's missed a lot of games. So it wouldn't surprise me that he's, certainly not playing at 100%. And again, that kind of style, for a lot of these QBs, they think it catches up to them. You know what I mean? So, all these guys at some point in time, they all settle down. Vic even at one point he had to settle down. So he wasn't he still made plays, but he wasn't that dynamic guy that he was in those early years with the Falcons. So I think that style has a short lifespan on it. And obviously that coach down in Miami, he really had to change to his playing style because he was getting wrecked. And we all saw, the frozen hands and all that kind of stuff, whatever. So yeah, that kind of style, is feast the famine with that. So I think
I got one more thing, Mr. Bennett.
Try to get those guys away
I got one more thing. I'm sorry for interrupting. I got one more thing on Lamar. I'm glad he won the game after the wild card game because he had to win that game.
Yes.
But it's hard to shame a man to lose to Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely.
Nah,
it's hard to shame a man after you lose to that dude. It's hard.
Well, I say this though about that, Arpane, but yeah, okay, you can say he lost to Mahomes, but you see that's a difference when during the regular season and people try to rank these quarterbacks, and a lot of times people rank Dak versus Allen. And I think somebody asked me that last week or somebody. I was like, who would you rather pick? And I say Allen.
It might have been me. It might have been me.
Allen performs in the playoffs. You look at the Bills' playoff loss, one thing you can say is like you can't blame that on Allen. Because a lot of times he performs. If somebody else on the Bills,
the only time you can say he laid a dud was against I know he played one early on, but I want to say against the Bengals. The Bengals was the only one where it was just like he just didn't show up.
With Jackson, okay, yeah, he lost against Mahomes, but if he would have performed, people wouldn't have been talking about him like now.
I agree with you.
But again, some of those plays were out of.
He basically cost the Ravens the game, his play. So that's why a lot of people coming at him like.
I know.
I mean, you can say he cost the game
and stuff like that. You can say the play calling, but that interception and the way because
that one I would say was a bad one. I would say that was definitely you're throwing in the triple coverage.
That was a bad one.
That's a bad.
But the way he was playing,
he cried when he got in the car.
The strip sack he got.
He did what? He did what?
He cried when he got in the car.
Man, that's a man.
That was tough.
I can't really fault him on the strip sack. I mean, everyone says, you got to have a timer in your head. I mean, look, defense going to make plays also. That strip fumble that he had deep in his own end, I mean, Yeah, you got a clock or whatever, but that was just a great play. And again, the knockout by the Kansas City receiver on the wide receiver on the one. I mean, again, great plays also. So I can't. I'm not going to give him an F. Like I said, the touchdown that he threw, nobody else in the NFL, I don't think could have put that off, even Mahomes, because I was like, he was dead to rights, and he was able to avoid that guy. So again, the athletic gifts are still there. But again, his teammates, and like I said, the defense, especially in the second half, those penalties, the headbutts, the whatever. I mean, inexcusable. In that moment.
I think the biggest problem is this: Mahomes is still there in the AFC. Burrow's gonna be back healthy. I mean, and then you got the Steelers, still a little bit. Eventually, they're gonna figure something out at the quarterback position.
This is
you
like
still got Josh Allen over there.
Jordan in the '90s. All right, this is the NBA East. All right, the Atlantic Conference, and Jordan's still there. You got the Knicks with them Rough Riders with the Knicks. And you got the Pistons.
That's exactly what it's like.
They'll play them tough, but in 7 games, the Pacers with Reggie Miller gave him a run. But Game 7.
No, it's the perfect analogy. It's like he's the guy that you can't get past, and you can. And I want to say Buffalo was so hyped up about he got to come to Buffalo. He's got this, and it was like came to Buffalo, got the dub, and then they're like, it's like they sick. So it's like that's the perfect analogy for how good he is. And the thing is about him that I'll say about it that is different than about Brady. Brady, it's one of those where it's like people can say it, but I don't want to. He was a guy that's like, oh, his smarts, his this, his that. Nothing physically was just wild you. The arm of Mahomes, like, I know they want to be, Allen has the better arm. He has the, and man, have you seen that kid's arm and the way that guy played baseball? Like, he has a cannon himself. I want to say they're neck and neck. But my thing is, I feel like he's more fluid to where it's like his 40 time not fast, but you can't, it's hard for you to catch him. And he's going to make it plays. And he's a guy that I know they gave Allen and other guys a lot of love. That Super Bowl he lost, where he's making plays against the line was terrible, and he's just making all types of throws. It's like you see how amazing he is, and it's like So I don't think it's a point where you can question the physical tools, the mental, and the production on the field. Where it's like
let me before you go, let me add one more thing. Let me ask one more thing. Let me say this one thing real quick. The thing about Jordan, think about how many Hall of Famers he stopped from getting a championship. I mean, that's Mahomes. I think that's what Mahomes is going to do, kind of like what Brady. Hall of Famers, man. Just that one guy stopped you from getting the goal, man. Jordan stopped everybody we love in the NBA that we could mention. In the 2 years that he was suspended, that's how Olajuwon got his. I say he was.
You said, "Are you with the suspension theory?"
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, you know what? I looked into it. And it was one of those things to where if you look at it, what gave it teeth to me, and no one ever told me this because they don't mention the things that Jordan does. They never mentioned to me that he had to testify in court with a known gambler with a check. So I was like, you had checks that big in the 90s as far as gambling. Who's to say that you wasn't so deep that Stern had to see? And the way Stern got down, but he was the golden boy. We're gonna sit you down, and we're gonna go and sit, and and then you're gonna come back. And so that's one of those things that you gotta look at, and you gotta think. And the thing is, I don't know if it's like a JFK or aren't they gonna finally release everything that happened in 2027 when Jordan is gone? Somebody might say it one day.
Yeah, the documentary. The 2 years of suspension. I swear to God, I believe he was suspended. Nobody's going to convince me.
It wasn't nothing like that with Joey.
Those Houston championships.
I'm gonna let Johnny speak first, and I'm gonna give my piece on it as far as.
Nah, man, because the thing about it, especially the first three-peat of the Bulls. Yeah, even Jordan mentioned himself. The Bulls had no answer for Olajuwon. And so a lot of times, I can remember this when I was growing up. The Rockets had the Bulls' numbers. I remember Olajuwon they had no center they could put, and then Vernon Maxwell was making Jordan work. So he was playing decent defense.
That's all you can ask.
So especially now, the second three-peat of the Bulls, that's when they amped up. So the Rockets couldn't keep up with that. But that first three-peat, the Rockets had a better head-to-head versus them, and the games that they played, Yeah, the Bulls had absolutely no
And
answer
then it
for
had
them.
Rob. Then had Rob on those teams.
No,
Anyway,
they had
so
Bobby,
that was
but
Bill
Sean,
Cartwright, Will Purdue.
Well,
yeah,
they still would have had Horace Grant, I think, right?
They
they
had
would have had
Horace
Horace.
Grant, but Otis Thorpe was they was going blow for
hey,
blow.
Otis
hey,
was a bad
hold up,
man.
time out.
Yeah.
If the Rockets had to contend with the Trailblazers, they couldn't get past the Trailblazers.
Because
The Trailblazers was always
the
there.
matchups. Because when the Bulls won, a part of their 2-3 peats is the Rockets' main nemesis was the Utah Jazz, and then at one time it was the Supersonics. But a lot of times that's their main obstacle. They matched up better versus the Bulls, and they was proving it when they played against them. But the Bulls are like, we match up better versus the Jazz and the Supersonics, who they ultimately end up playing. Even Jordan himself said, "I'm thankful we didn't play the Rockets in the finals because we had no answer for Elijah one." And I remember watching those games.
Where's that?
I remember watching those games. It wasn't Jordan who was standing out. It was Elijah one.
Let me just say this.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this as far as the whole thing. I never as far as since I don't root for the Mavericks. I never had like a rivalry or any beef with the Rockets. My thing was I really like Shaq, and it was just like to see Elijah Wan just destroy that team. That showed me all I needed to see. Plus the fact that Jordan was in the playoffs and had a chance to get there, but they couldn't get past the Magic. The young Shaq and Penny. And my thing was, I felt like, hey, it would have been great to see them do it, to play it, but they're just like Jordan said in The Last Dance. They didn't know if they had enough juice to go for 4 in a row, and they probably would have been out of gas. They might not have made it because a team like the Knicks, they're going to beat you up, and the Pacers, all those teams gunning for them, they may not have even made it. And then if they did make it, 4 straight trips, that accumulates on the body, and then the Rockets are getting there. That would have been probably I still see that I think the Rockets could have beat them, but it's kind of like we're mature enough here, but the Jordan fanboys can just can't even bring it up. It's just like
where you Shawnee, where I could agree. The championship that Drexler was on that team, nobody from up or down was going to win that championship. Drexler said, "This is my last shot." And I don't think anybody was going. So I would give you that second one because I think he was on that team for the second one. Drexler was a man possessed. I know his whole career was going to be, co-signed by that ring, and nobody was going to.
That was the Knicks, right?
No, the first one was the first one.
Yeah, was it the Knicks?
He's talking about that.
The second one was the Magic.
The second one. They had a big, they had a big series versus the Suns when Mario Elie made that clutch corner 3-pointer. And that was another rivalry. So each conference has their rivalry they hump to get over before you get to the finals.
Back when the NBA was the NBA.
Yeah. And, okay. Now since we talk about the NBA,
this one to this day, man. John Starks.
Since we talking about the NBA, I'm about to bring some of the new NBA for the new NBA. So. Damn it,
I want you to get into that post you made about the 65.
Yeah.
So before you guys go to the NBA, who's winning the Super Bowl?
Hang on, next week we got another week.
Right? Oh yeah, we got.
Next week. We'll save it for
this. The media they gonna be. They got 2 weeks to talk about that one game.
That's a win.
Yeah, the media got 2 weeks to talk about that one game.
Yes, sir.
So this past, I think it was yesterday or today. Tyrese Halliburton, the guard for the Pacers,
all-star starter.
He came out and saying that now the NBA has made it a rule that players need to play at least 65 games to qualify to either be an All-Pro, MVP, All-Defensive Team, and stuff like that.
I agree.
So he came out and saying it's a stupid rule.
No, it's not.
But he blames the owners. Now I'm like, hold on, no, this is not.
Yeah.
You can't blame the owners on this. This was done because of your peers. Now some owners played into it as far as letting their respective players sit out, owners / franchise. But this was that and the peers. You cannot blame this on this rule was not something that the owners put into play. The league put this rule because the fans was complaining about, hey man, we not seeing
and rightfully so.
The fans, now you got these TV deals. Now when people bring this up, you got to remember the NBA is a business. Yeah, you got to look at the whole big picture when you come down to money. It's no longer about the teams and the players no more. They get this money because these TV deals they get nowadays are just astronomical. And they saying, like, hey man, we giving y'all all this money because you damn sure know the players not going to take a pay cut if you want to get rid of some of these games. We give you all this money because we want to see these marquee players on the court when we showcasing them, and the fans as well. So that's when the NBA had to draw a line in the sand and say, hey man, y'all got to play at least 65 games to qualify this for that, because players were sitting here taking days off even when it wasn't injured.
Right.
If they was injured, they was legit. Like right now, Joe Embiid legit injured. Hell, even Halliburton was legit, and that's why he's been missing some games. But players are just taking days off because they don't want to get hurt. So I was saying, like, and it was on First Take this morning too. Players of the past, they was playing 82 game seasons, and they had nowhere near the luxurious travel plans. They wasn't getting paid. Hell, Jordan, his contract was only $4 million a year. He was making more money off of his Nike stuff. Yeah. So they wasn't even getting. They was the older players was flying coach to games. Players nowadays get paid generational wealth money on an NBA contract alone. They travel in a luxurious style from city to city, staying in the best hotels, and still they don't want to play all these games, these 82 games. So I have no problem with the rules because they was forced to do that, So, but what y'all think about that? Was we were talking about old school basketball.
But think about this though. Think about this. You finally sum up enough money to take your family of 3 or 4 to the game. The game is on a weekend. You got to go 3 hours. You got to get a hotel. You got to do all that. I want to see Clay, Steph, Draymond, whoever else is out there. I get to the game. They didn't tell me when I bought the tickets, like, okay, they ain't playing. I get there, ain't none of them fools playing. I'm mad as hell. I done bought my camera, I done bought my Clay shirt, and I get there, they're not playing. So, they put themselves in this position.
And Johnny, I'm gonna contend against you with what you said. You got to realize, like, I was looking it up to see. I'm assuming that this was collectively bargained. I'm just gonna assume because the players' union is pretty good, and coming out with a rule like that, I'm pretty sure that's affecting money. And you got to look at it for the NBA. The NBA, their union is not for the everyman. Their presidents have been Hall of Fame guys. Like Kyrie was second in command, Hall of Fame guy. Chris Paul was the leader for a while. I want to say the last one that wasn't a high up guy was Derek Fisher. Excuse me. And then the top guys still have a lot of influence as lieutenants. But from the standpoint of the owners were putting a lot of, Mark Cuban is one of the main ones. Well, we got this data here. Kristaps Porzingis, when he was in Dallas, you heard a lot of stuff with, I forgot the name of the trainer that's really good here in Dallas. And he was saying, oh, well, they got this plan and they've done the data and they see that, those flights and this and that is causing these injuries. And now, I don't know if it was complete. There had to be some level of truth to it. But now they're saying basically it's not as consequential. It's not as serious as we thought. And they flipped it and was like, well, it doesn't really help. We need them to play because now it's TV contract time. And if you do the math, 65 games is right at 75%. So if you're playing 3 out of 4 of the games where we're expecting you to play, then it's like the fans, like, Trey Ferg taking his family. Like, I know I took a trip last year when I went to go see the Lakers. I knew LeBron was out, but AD still was playing, and they was in a playoff hunt. Had a great time, enjoyed the game. LeBron comes back to the next game. That makes a difference. I would have paid a little bit more if I know LeBron's coming in the next game and I change the trip around. But you got to have the guys playing, and it's a thing of, I still will harp on this, and I will not get off this hill. There's an article that ESPN wrote years ago about how on these lower levels of basketball, they are putting these guys through the rigmarole because they notice that it is money in this, and you got guys coming, like here in Texas, Duncanville is a powerhouse in football and basketball. They got a guy that's about to get drafted, Ron Holland. He's in the G League Ignite right now. They have had a hoop fest going on for I want to say maybe 10 years or so. And when you look at the billing of it, I paid to get in this year to see my brother play, and I'm like, damn. But do you look at it? Cooper Flag is there, and you get the Trey Young has played in it. It's a machine at the amateur level, and that's just at the high school. Playing in the summer leagues, these guys are there before they get to high school. They're playing so many games that their bodies, or they get into the NBA. And I read the article, you got guys with a 46-inch vertical can't stand up on one leg because there's so much cartilage there. There's so much of a problem. So you're getting guys. Oh, we got this 19-year-old rookie. Why is he out tonight? Because you done ran him through. Because it's like, yeah, your body is young and you could do a lot, but you probably not need to be playing 3 games a weekend for 6 years. With no real legitimately athletical staff there, just your mom and them, the coach would, wrapping you up. And it's just like, oh, go out there, you got it. And yeah, you young, you 12, you 13, you 14, you 16, you're like, oh, I can go. And then he's like, man, I got this ache. But you keep playing. And then you get to the league and it's like, well, you done made it all the way through. And now the guys is like, I gotta pay this guy $25-30 million. And he's banged up, beat up. And that's when the plans came in. They need to fix it from the bottom level. And have none of the parents. Like I heard Zion's parents caught on and they said there were some tournaments they didn't have him playing because it's like enough is enough. You've seen enough. When is it enough for him to get on to the next level? You're making money for these tournaments. Like some of these AAU tournaments, these fees are crazy to pay to get in because future NBA star, you got this guy. And it's like they have to fix it there. But in the league, they got to train their bodies to get back to playing full games, not just. Y'all remember when Shaq, I'm a big Lakers fan, so I remember when Shaq, the first part of the year, he used to come to camp and get in shape during the season. And then after his birthday was in early March, second part of the, after post All-Star break, turn it on, get ready. April, I'm ready for the playoffs. And that's why his body would just get beat up. They have to get to a point where it's just like, nah, you guys already trained in the off season. You need to be ready to play 82 games and play as many as you can. Like somebody I say hats off to that's played most of the games. And he's gonna make the all defensive team. He may or may not. Rudy Gobert might win defensive player of the year, but Anthony Davis has a strong case. He's played quietly, and that's the one thing I don't like about national media. He's played in a lot of games, and then like national media is kind of quiet about it, but you can't, as national media, say, oh, this is ridiculous. No, you told the guys to play in the game. You've been griping and complaining. The league and the players came together and made a rule. If you do not want the rule, you have enough power to say, we're not going for this. We're not going to let our money be tied to this. But my thing is, how do you have the money be tied? Because for the most part, when you look at the All-NBA list, you might say, hey, that guy didn't make it or that guy didn't. But for the most part, LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry making the All-NBA team, not a lot of dispute that happened with that. Now, Halliburton is a first-time All-Star starter. He has a good chance to make any one of the teams. But if he makes one, that's a $54 million decision. So I can understand the gripe, but guess what? You got to do now. This is what I will say with the old heads. Get like the old guys in the 90s and figure out a way to play. And I don't give a damn if it's, hey, I can play the first quarter. I need to rest a little bit more in the second. But in the fourth, when it's winning time, I'm going to be on the floor to make sure I win this damn game. Go out. You got to go out there and play. And my thing is, if your body is hurt, damn the rules and stuff. Protect your body, but protect your body. Try to win enough to get into the postseason and go from there. But I can't really have the sympathy because you've made it such a problem to not play that's what we talk about instead of the amazing performances we've seen this week. We're talking about this. We need to be talking about Embiid dropping 70 on the anniversary of Kobe dropping 81. Karl Anthony Towns dropping 62. With of course,
I got my things to say about that too, but I let the other guys tell about the other one.
Towns annoys me.
Dante, listen, you said a lot of stuff. Okay. Don't forget all that. I was saying the superstars are what people want to see. Yeah. Get your ass on the court and play those games. If you're not hurt, don't give me this. If I play in the future, I might not be that's bullcrap. You're getting paid generational wealth now. Steph Curry makes $50 million a year. I don't want to hear. He's not one of them, but I don't want to hear it. Just like Trey Ferg said, if I'm paying maybe $500 to see you play, I don't want to see you on the sideline because you want to take a day off. You know how much juice that the blue collar worker has to do for his minimum wage? No, his boss don't give a shit whether his kid is sick or whether all that. So you're a big multi-millionaire. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Halliburton, shut your goddamn mouth. Period.
I'm with you. They have to be more sensitive to the blue collar guy. They have to be more sensitive to that and say they don't give a damn about that. They, not to be insensitive, but hey, when it comes to being a blue collar, if you want players, if you want the common man to have more plight to what you're doing as a worker, because essentially the average NBA player is a more higher paid blue collar guy, like the guy, the 12th man, the 10th man, but you as the superstar, you make the whole thing go. So I'm with you, Arpan. You need to be out there, and you're the face of the league. You're the pitch man, and it's looked bad for you when you've had faces of the league like James Harden.
I want to see a bone.
I'll take that back.
I want to see a bone sticking out of your leg. I want to see a bone sticking out of your skin. That's what I want to see, goddamn.
But fellas, there's no other grueling league like the NBA. High school, you play 24, 25 games. College, you may play a little bit.
No, you play like 30 something.
But in high school, it's not like most teams play about 25 games. Then you got your tournaments. But if you're playing more basketball than that before you get into high school, then it's your parents' fault. There's no way in hell that I'm gonna have my son out there playing basketball all year round. Your ass gonna take a break like we used to do back in the day. You're gonna get your summer break. I ain't bringing your ass out to no winter workouts. We're gonna work out in the basement.
How does that work? But how does that work with with travel team now and all these leagues available? Folks want to get seen or whatnot.
Yeah.
So you saying your son's only going to play high school ball?
But here's the thing: only 400 or 500 guys gonna make it to the NBA, and most of these kids ain't jumping 42 inches. These damn fuckers just learn how to dribble. I'm not gonna spend my hard-earned money traveling my kid around, standing in the hotel, and then I gotta fit the bill for most of them. No, I've seen it. These guys are using these kids, and they're getting paid.
Yeah,
for these kids. It's like I see it in football. They have these traveling teams now. They're not really doing local youth football. Everybody traveling. So you putting up $4,000 or $5,000 for your kid to travel, and he ain't gonna get to keep the jersey. Might not even get a damn banquet. No, I'm not doing that as a parent. I'm gonna reserve my child, keep him under the same thing. And as a parent, I would train him in my home, in my backyard. I would take him to the track, but I'm going to make sure he gets the proper rest. He's not going to be eating Cheetos and fucking hot dogs on the road. No, he's going to eat a well-balanced meal. And this is where, as a parent, if you really want your child to get to that level, you have to train them yourself. You cannot be afraid. I wouldn't leave him in the hands of nobody that never played sports. If you ain't played basketball, football, you're not going to coach my son.
What the problem with that is, you got these systems, and the thing is, the way some guys get left through the claps is because they're not put into the system. What you see a lot of times is guys will be rated lower and coming in, but it's normally the guys where their parents are professional athletes. Like I want to say Adrian James' son wasn't going through the rigmarole of the scouting system. Steph Curry, because his father played in the league, he didn't go into all those camps. He played it to a degree, but he didn't really go into it. That's why he went to Davidson, because they was like, we're not going through all of that. And like, they have the power and ability to do that. For the common kid that's unknown, that doesn't have famous parents, maybe their parents, they're doing okay, they scrap and scrape to pay for those camp fees and to get in there so they can kind of scrap and claw through. Like, the whole system really needs to be changed, Trey, if we're going, but that's a different topic than the NBA. You're here now. You just got to play in the games. You got to find a way to
Hey, Trey, real quick, KP, in the comments, KP, he was questioning your using of the word grueling. So I want to give you a chance to, expound on why you were saying what was grueling.
You have kids, and they're still trying to figure out who they are. Their bodies are still growing. You can't put them through these strenuous all year round workouts, and your son still can't even touch the net yet. No, it doesn't work. And if your son, listen, I play football, play sports all my life, coached it, all of that. I've seen some of the kids that didn't have hardly no skills come out. Only thing you do as a coach, and this is me, I'm going to give you a plan that you can go off of that can get you in better condition, a better shape, build muscle in the off season. And During certain times, because even in high school sports, you have certain times that you can't do anything. Then you have times where you can do some conditioning. Okay, we're going to do that. And if this kid makes it like Anthony Davis, he went from 6'1" to 6'10", 11. He had a hell of a growth spurt. He wasn't playing. You got to give a kid a chance, body to relax.
Yeah, he was going to Cleveland State. He went from going to Cleveland State with a scholarship to Kansas, Kentucky.
But you have to give the body time to condition itself, and not, swimming is a great exercise, but ain't none of us trying to swim. We just trying to run up and down the court. That's why you see all these ugly ass jump shots out there. Everybody want to be a Steph Curry and can't even fucking dribble. No, you got to take them through the basics. Allow that person to be. It's just a grooming process. I don't see a need to do that. If you can throw, you can throw. If you can jump, you can jump. I've seen guys never really did anything. These motherfuckers jumping over cars. I've seen, what I'm saying? So to do all that, spend $25,000 to get my kid in the system, because I guarantee if a kid, and this is how it happened back in the day, a recruiter would come to see the star. And here it is, you come out and have a 42-point game, and you 5'9". Next thing you know, you getting letters from that school. So it hasn't changed. Only 400 some players go get selected. And why not go overseas? I got a nephew who's been overseas 12 years, averaging 20, 25 points, making maybe $300,000-$400,000. He said he ain't never coming back to the damn States.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of trying to get the guys there, right? I mean, they're trying to, for a lot of these guys, if they can get their kid to a D1 or fully paid college scholarship, that they think that's worth it than versus trying to play even more of that for
and that's what I wish
to go to school. So again, you talk about the 400 to get to the NBA, but for most of these parents, I think what's driving their decisions is just trying to get them to, again, if they can get an education, then they think that's 25,000. They think it's worth it. You're gonna have a lot.
I don't realize it's tough to get that. It's really tough to get in there. It's tough to. I don't think it's tough. It's tough because I'm a parent. It's tough to be like, you don't really got it like that. It's tough. It's tough for you to gently tell your kid like, hey, you don't have that type of skill level. But it's like, but from doing it, from seeing my brother, I can tell him, hey, these are the level of schools that are contacting you. This is where you slated to probably go. So you just gotta have, early on, UNC, Kentucky, and Duke is not keeping you up. Then that's not gonna happen. Some parents aren't realistic, and it's like, I'm gonna take them to this, I'm gonna go there, and it's kind of like they have to check themselves and just be like, this is where it's at.
Even then, you're still talking about the cream of the crop, though. I'm saying go to like Boulder or Colorado or so. As long as it's D1, there's thousands of D1 programs that are out there. You don't have to be shooting for Duke and Carolina and whatnot. So I think for a lot of these kids, even a good D2 school, if they have a good educational program, again, a lot of parents are going to want to invest in that to get their kids there. You know what I mean? So
So what comes first? What comes first? The student or the athlete?
The student needs to come first.
I just think
the student has to come first because
it depends where you come from. Because
you got to focus. You got to focus on that because after you're done athletically, you're going to need to use your mind. You're going to have to use critical thinking skills. You're going to have a level of intelligence, and I don't think a lot of people aren't focusing enough on that.
What I was going to do, a lot of parents aren't thinking about that. It's like, look, get you into school, and you'll figure out the rest later. So they're not even, they're not going to be up on that.
And a lot of times. Yeah. Mr. Bennett, a lot of times when you're saying it, and I got this from when you talk about guys say, hey, they want to go Division I, they're not talking about going to Boulder, Colorado. They're talking about Power 5, the cream de la crop. Everybody wants to see that because that's what you always see on TV.
But that's the hoop dream. Yeah, well, y'all young enough to remember hoop dreams?
Yes.
Yeah, we remember
hoop
dreams.
So both of them.
That's right in my wheelhouse when I was younger. Yes.
So I was actually going to request KP because I see he joined us on the show. I was going to request KP to come on because he had making comments about what Trey was saying. And before you jump on, KP, from what I was understanding, Trey, correctly if I'm wrong, he was more coming from the standpoint of basically parents, when he was using grueling and all that, parents are basically just beating their kids up in their development years. Forget the pros right now, but as far as high school, we're talking about basketball, so they playing basketball for the school, then they go on the road to play AAU and all this basketball. And then by the time they make it to the NBA, their bodies are damn near is worn. Instead of like taking a break from playing the sport and just using that break just to build your body instead of just playing basketball. Hell, football. If football is the same, baseball is the same. Because pro leagues, they play a whole lot more.
I'm saying, but it's across in the pro leagues that there is no off season in any professional sport. You know
but that's what I'm saying. That's when you get to that professional. Yeah, professional sport is different. That's what you do for a living.
But even then, you used to have an off season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why camps used to be longer.
Yeah.
When you get to training camp, where training camp was the time you got in shape.
Yeah.
So it's like constant, beating up your body like that for 82 games in the NFL, the NFL, or whatever. It's like when you
and your body broken down.
Yeah, you got to give yourself that, especially if you're an older player. I mean, it's at least some coaches I see in the NFL. They let you skip the Tuesday and Wednesday workouts. You do your Thursday, Friday run or whatever, and then you're good. So they try to accommodate the older players. But again, once you hit 25, 28, 29, 30, that body's just not as elastic. So you need more of that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, KP.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Trey Ferg on the high school kids. But when he said it, R. Payne was just finishing talking about the NBA. So I was thinking Trey Ferg was talking about the NBA guys. I'm just saying, if you're getting paid and I roll into your town, I roll into Memphis next weekend, and the Ja's supposed to be playing, hey, I don't want to hear no excuse about Ja not playing because I'm bringing my wife and my kids to go see this game.
That's what I said.
And you're going to run out there and bring in the third team point guard and run him out there and tell me, $50 million guy.
Best players in the world.
I don't want to see that, bro. I don't want to see it, bro. I mean, I'm a Bengals fan, bro. Y'all didn't want to watch Jake Brown versus Patrick Mahomes, did you?
Nope.
Nobody wanted to see it, bro. I mean, everybody know what we watching right here. That's all I'm saying. That's
what I was saying.
I think Trey Ferg do that. I think we all do because we know that we pay those prices when we go to those games. We know what
that's the only consideration that matters, my man. All the rest of that stuff beforehand and all that, that's just feed them. And the only thing that matters is when you're a pro and you're a star attraction and the tickets that you're supposed to play in are at a premium, get your ass on the court. Everything else is just bullcrap.
Yeah.
That's why they put those new rules in.
And Trey Ferg and Mr. Bennett is probably correct because my son is a sophomore and he runs track in the D1 college. And like you guys said, these kids don't get an off season. They haven't been getting an off season for a long time. My son gave up football to do track because 7-on-7 was football's thing. That's what they do now in the summer for football. 7-on-7 all over the place. They take them everywhere, and that's where he got hurt doing 7-on-7. Broke his
stressing his body up. Yep.
Yeah.
So when he broke his collarbone, junior year going to senior year, he said, "I'm gonna play senior year, Dad, but I don't know if I'm gonna play college because he was getting recruited at the time." This me being transparent with you, brothers. Air Force, Army, and Navy for football.
There you go.
And he declined it. He took track. He didn't. He let it go. He took track instead.
I respect that. I respect it because you got to.
I respected his decision as well. I just let him.
I told my brother that. I told him, I said, if you don't want to, as hard as you work to be at a high level, I want to say they're highly ranked in the state. They're number 3. I think they got like 26-3. I was like, as hard as you work here, imagine when you get to college, even at a lower level, you're going to have to work. If you don't want to commit to that, you're accepted to other schools educationally. Just go to school and chill. Well, not chill, but go to school, work on your books, get your degree.
Yeah.
It's a lot more X because I told him, I said, you got to realize if you're playing basketball, this is the last, this past one, this was the last Christmas. This was the last Thanksgiving we're going to see you. That's basketball season. Just know that, brother. We love you, but you're not going to see us.
Let me ask you guys something, because especially KP, since you said your son also ran track. What do you think of, because I'm also seeing with a lot of these guys, they're getting more specialized early. Like it used to be a benefit when you played basketball, football, track, you were a better athlete overall. But now they want you so dedicated to one sport. Like a lot of these travel teams dissuade their players from playing other sports. Do you think that that's hurting the overall development of the player not being involved in multiple sports?
I believe it is, Mr. Bennett, and you are correct. But my son's head coach was the leader of his travel team for 7-on-7, and he made his corners and his wide receivers and running backs run track.
I did that in high school.
They had to run track. Starting as freshmen, they had to run track. So
that's the key.
And then what I did see too, guys, I'm gonna be honest. I got a kid that I know right now. One is in Alabama from the team, same team. One is in Iowa State, defensive tackle. And these kids, my son said, they is good friends. My son runs track, but they play football. Uh, they social life is non-existent, and
Yep.
they and the other kid is down there where Saban was. So, I mean, he's probably possibly thinking about transfer. I don't know. I haven't heard from his pops, but I just can imagine. You get there your first year, and now once you get there, your coach is gone, the coach that you signed for. So, that's college. That's how it is now.
I think a
Why
lot of
run
players.
the
Okay, Bob.
100s, 200, or the 4x4?
He runs the 100 and the 200 and the 4x.
Oh, he pretty fast then.
So
Nice.
so
That's
KP,
good.
does your son has aspirations to be a pro in track? Or
No,
he
but
just doing
he's
it
good.
just
No, he's good enough that okay, in his D1 league, as a freshman last year, he was second place in his league. But this year, he's probably going to be on his team. Now he's the second fastest runner because there's a freshman that's faster than him this year, and they're
And he
running.
need a free
They're
education.
running
cause
in the 100 meters.
Wonderful.
They're running. What did he run? Jesus, because they run 60s indoors. So
right.
the
Mhm.
times change so much.
Yeah.
So the 60s indoors, man, I can't remember the time. I had to look it up, guys. I'm sorry.
But as I was saying, because in pretty much
What's
any
going on,
sport,
brother?
you decide to become professional. Because I know we've been talking about basically this workload that that younger players go through, hell, or depending on what sport they play. But with any of them, if they have aspirations to want to do it professionally, yo, it's a sacrifice basically.
Yeah.
And the workload that we may be saying is a lot right now. Yeah, you're gonna turn it up, 2 or 3 times more. People, your family's gonna feel it. That you have to make some sacrifice,
Yeah. Tommy B was
and
mentioning
you
that
damn near going to
before.
be obsessed with it because now, unless
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially you see this in football, because some dudes use football. Hey, I got the skill to make it to the NFL. I just want to play as long as I can or a certain limit, get my money, and bounce. All you got these players who have this drive. Now they have that
Future man.
drive. It's gonna be sacrifices made, and that's unfortunately it's gonna be felt by their families because it's complete obsession, and they gonna work, work, work. They biggest thing is they gonna work when you not. They gonna keep waking up early to work. So it just depends on if they want to make it to the pros. That work ethic is gonna have to grow 2 or 3 times more. So
Hello, your
But
future man.
wouldn't depend like
Future man,
which
baby.
like which sport you're doing the best. Like that's usually how it goes. Like you start developing what sport you are better when you like around sophomore going into your junior year, right?
yeah, that's what. You choose
If
which
well,
one
if
the
you're
best
exposed
performer.
to it, because like I said, with
Yeah,
these
If you're
DraftKings
supposed to.
now, kids are getting into these sports exclusively a lot younger.
yeah,
Like in grammar
yeah.
school,
Yeah, my,
they're
my
not
middle school,
supposed to
yeah,
be.
they all one sport. Like my
Yeah,
brother, he played multiple sports. Like he dabbled in, he did track like a little bit because basically
Right.
basketball, he used the summer for basketball, but fall was for football. He never did the 7-on-7 thing, but I told my wife already. I've seen a snapshot of what it's like. My children are not, I don't care how far they are on the bench. In Little League, we are not doing skills at 4 years. Now, I'm joking, but we're not going to doing skills training too early. And we're going to let them just have fun because I've seen plenty of guys. It was like, man, in Little League, he wasn't. Yeah, Little League, he was just out there playing, having fun. And he got serious and got good and developed. And now
Yes.
that guy is, really a good high school player. And I'm telling him my expectations is hopefully you can be on the varsity level one day and get there by your sophomore junior year and just make an impact. That's why you set the expectations there and not just you going D1, you going and doing all of that. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to live through them. You had your time. Let them just
Yeah.
have fun.
I'm a,
I want you to
I'm
have
a,
the social experience
I
of,
want
of
to tell
being
you
able to play athletics.
I want to tell you brothers what I did because in third grade he played football and he said he didn't want to play anymore. And
You
he
got
played in
hit that
third,
first
so I
time,
didn't
huh?
make him. No, he didn't because he was a corner. They small, you know what I mean. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
he
yeah. I
didn't
play wide
play
receiver,
again.
nigga.
He didn't go back out to play again until eighth grade, and that's when his best friend asked him to play because his best friend is the defensive tackle at Iowa State now. right? So his best friend is like 6'3", 340, something like that, something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lightning.
Okay. So yeah, so he's gonna be on Sundays. Okay. So he goes back and plays in 8th grade, and then he plays from there. Like McCray is saying, I didn't force him to play anything. I just allowed him to pick. And once he picked, we rolled with it. 9th through 12th grade, he made All-State from sophomore year on. And
on track?
And that's when he got in football. But he never made All-State in track, bro. He never made it in track until
I was gonna ask you what was the fastest time your son run the 100 and the 200, because if you're running 100 on the 11
right now, I'm telling you 100 right now. At the beginning of this year, he ran a 6.7, and the kid on his team ran this is the 600.
Huh?
This is the 60 meter. Sorry, because they indoor right now. So he ran a 6.7. He ran a 6.7 in the 60.
I'm about to say, nigga, that's Usain Bolt speed right there, man. What are you waiting for?
And you know I'd be lying like a mug if I told you that. So he ran a 6.7 in the 60, and his teammate beat him with a 6.6, and that's a freshman. The freshman beat him with a 6.6.
Hey.
So
yeah, because if you running
like 100 meters, is gonna be.
Man, KP, I wish you starting on the luck this spring track season, man. That's amazing. He's flying.
Yeah,
if you got your boy running the 100 under 11 seconds, boy, you got something special at that point. So you guys, you're working with something.
He runs in the 10s, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So KP and Trey, you can chime in also. So at what point did you think that your son was not going to be that guy, like pro potential? And did you have an honest conversation with them saying, hey, you're good, you'll get here, but I'm not doing all this stuff for you and hyping you up and psyching you up that you're going to be at potential pro level and draft and whatnot. That look, this is like, in other words, you set the expectation for your son that was reasonable. They said, yeah, I can still embrace that, but not be so obsessive over it.
The great thing about it is that since his best friend was so big, right? This kid come over to your house, you like, okay, this kid ain't normal. You're normal. This kid is 6'4", 370 pounds in high school. He got to lose weight to get to 340. You understand what I'm saying? I'm about to put his name in the back check for y'all. Y'all look him up. And this kid is abnormal, but he's gonna play on Sundays. And when he plays on Sundays, you're gonna see him. And he's gonna play on Sundays. So having these conversations was very easy because he has a friend that was that big. So that was, and it was a lot easier because my father-in-law, my wife, my mother-in-law, and all of us as a family, we never made him feel like you got to win for us to win. You understand what I'm saying? Like I think
I know exactly what you're saying.
Their kids, you have to win for us to win. Now, it was never that mentality. It was you go get your education because you got this scholarship for this, and use that education to further yourself, and then go further from there.
That's how it should be. You have too many.
You
have too many that
pounds?
put their kids in there.
Yeah, that kid that I just
Yeah, now I'm looking at him now.
Look him up.
Yeah, I'm looking at him
now. Is it what, offensive lineman or defensive lineman?
Defensive tackle, bro. He's gonna be a nose tackle in the league.
The nose tackle. How much you weigh right now?
340.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. Because defensive tackle, you need to be
340.
Maybe college them.
I'm saying they'll move him to nose. He'll be in the center. He won't be
You don't think?
He'll run.
You don't think? You don't? Is he in college already?
Yeah,
he's a sophomore. He's going to his junior year next year.
Okay. I thought you were talking about high school. I was going to say they might move him into some, because with that height, with that weight. No, this is what I was going to say. Like with that height and with that weight, they usually the position to be is the left tackle. Man. That's like the premier position in football, pretty much.
But here's the difference, though. He's going to get on a weight regimen plan, and he's going to lose a few pounds. He's not going to be 350. He probably leveled out about 310.
310? I said 310.
Once he gets into his, start picking up his grown man strength, and he gets into a great weightlifting program, he's going to lose a little weight. I mean, in reference to children, you have to be, I don't know. It's a different time than it was when I was growing up. When I was in high school, everybody's goal was to bench 300 pounds and squat over 450 pounds. That was just the goal. From the defensive back to the biggest man on the team. If I could bench 300 pounds, I was killing it. And it really showed. I think at some point, you just have to be careful that if the kid is not pushing himself to be in that position, as a parent, you have to be really careful on just saying, I'm like, come on, son, we got to do this, we got to do this. But if he's pushing himself, it will play out to the way it's supposed to be. And this is what I used to always, because I used to always tell my son and my nephews this. Of course, playing sport, yeah, you're going to go to the league and you're going to do all this. But once I saw that his interest sort of declined and he wasn't putting in that work, now I'm like, okay, you're going to go to college. If you play sports, it's a greater opportunity that you can get it all paid for. And I'm talking to him on the education level. A recruiter's not going to come to you first. He's going to go see your counselor. So your grades are going to be very important. And your junior, senior in high school is when they really start looking at you and saying, okay, we want you. But regardless of what level of school you go to me, the most important thing, whether you're 5'6" or 6'6", the most important thing is getting your education, because now it puts you in a position that, let's just say you don't make it and your buddy makes it, you can become an agent. You can get $2 or $3 million and live the same lifestyle.
Kind of like LeBron James tactics.
If you get that break, then great. But I have to make sure that say you do get it, I have to make sure that you're not taking advantage of. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And this is where a lot of young guys are sort of thrown to the wolves, raised by, I would say to say it, single mamas sometimes, because they don't understand the dynamics of all it takes, and they're going to just let baby go out there and do. By the time the guy's 21, he's probably played in 400 or 500 games. He's burned out. He ain't really got his education together. So if he doesn't make it in sports, then where does he go? He's not looking at, I got to get a job. He still go feel like he can chase the dream at 32 years old. Like, man, I can do. No.
But that's easier. That's easier said than done, bro, because I got a bunch of homies that actually made it to the NFL, right? And let's be honest, man, when you are like a world-class high school talent like that and you go to college for free, fam, none of these niggas go over there for the schooling part. Let's be honest here, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're going with the pro dreams in mind.
Exactly. But here's what I'm trying to say. Like the classes that you take when people is in college, when you an athlete, you take like the dumbest classes because they want to pass you. You there to play football or basketball, fan. That's just what you're there for. The classes that you take are literally high school classes, bro, because they want you to be easy. You barely go to class and they're gonna pass you. Like that's just what it is. So that's what, like I say, it's easier said than done. I know what you're saying. But like it's kind of like it's like hard to juggle those two. Like trying to like quote unquote, you want to get your degree by default. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get that shit by default.
It's on the parents, because I know I gotta cut out a minute, but I just want to say this. I was watching real sports, and I remember early on I loved watching those, so you get a more in depth and not just X's and O's. And there was some guys from North Carolina, and they had these degrees, and they said when they got those degrees from trying to play ball, and they were lower end guys, and they was just like, they got laughed at, and they're doing manual labor jobs with a bachelor's degree, because it doesn't really mean anything because they took those cookie cutter classes. And there were some guys from North Carolina. They didn't become Ryan Switzer and play in the league. They didn't become the guy that's about to get drafted, the quarterback there. They didn't become Demani Brown.
For Myron Rowe.
Myron Rowe, gosh.
That dude.
Like that's the goal. That's the goal of what you want. And I'll say this, as far as me as a product of the HBCU, I love the fact that if you steer your kids there, percentages wise, more than likely you're not going. So you go and focus on get your education. And like Trey Ferg always says, and I appreciate you, brother, for being an advocate. You're gonna go play a great sport. You're gonna be a part of classics. They're great social environments, but also you're gonna be debt free. You can focus on what you need to focus on. Get your degree, come out, and when you're sitting around a water cooler, after you got your degree, you got your job, Now I play college ball, play division, especially if you play at the Division 1, play Division 1 college ball, play D2, whatever level. I play college ball, and tell me your stories in this. So you have that life experience along with education
But
in a place that in a place that really is, especially if you pick the right one, that's going to cultivate and let you grow as a person. And I felt like
yeah,
there's nothing wrong
but
with steering your
Dante,
kids in
And
that
you can
direction
go
what
to
I was trying to
homecoming
say,
for a lifetime. And you're going back to homecoming for a lifetime.
for life.
yeah, but Dante, what I was trying to
Johnny
say
know.
is like what I was trying to say was like it's kind of like it's not impossible, but it's real hard, fam. When you get a scholarship for football, fam, and you're gonna have any time to quote unquote dedicate to your degree, fam, because you gotta go live, watch like tape, meetings. That's
Oh
why they
yeah.
get those classes that way, man. Like you see what I'm saying? Like it's like kind of like real hard. Something obvious at the time. These kids get out of practice and then you got to watch the tape and all of that. They really don't got no time. They really pass you in college. That's what they do. When you there when in scholarship, they
Yeah,
want to
it's
pass you.
Yeah,
It's
they want to pass you, and it's like
it's
you gotta take it as yourself as a player. You have to instill it in your child to know, hey, you can't go and take these shortcuts because there's no guarantee at this next level. You have to have the education on what, like a lot of times, for the guys that are higher level, they have a hard time transferring. Like, why didn't this school get him? Well, this school, no matter how good you are as a player, they have integrity and they want to have integrity as their institution. They don't want to let certain guys in because it's like your GPA not high enough. Sometimes you get the,
Right.
the the big donors to push enough money through, but that's a lot of times you're like, hey, why didn't he go here? Why didn't he go there? He didn't have the grades. It's still a little part of it.
Bro,
Like that's why Notre Dame is tough for them to ever get
McCray,
back on time like they
McCray,
were.
you're on
It's hard to do
point,
that.
bro. McCray
Right.
is on point, bro.
Appreciate it,
Hey,
brother.
I gotta tell y'all,
Poppy, you said
real quick.
you played wide receiver in high school. Were you thinking about playing at college ball, or did you have an opportunity to play?
I had a scholarship, man, but I fucked up. I lost it. But a bunch of my homies did. Yeah, I went the wrong route.
He was chasing the honeys, bro. He was chasing the
Yeah,
honeys.
I went with the wrong route. Man.
No,
That was alright. Nothing
I'm
spectacular.
glad you said it because it said the fact that you said you had some guys who are in the league now, so you had guys who were around you that you saw, but that pull wasn't enough to keep you going in that direction.
Oh yeah. Like I met them. Like 3 of my homies in high school made it to the league, and then no, not online, two. But the third one, he's kind of like he came after me. I knew him, but I didn't know him, so I'm gonna say just 2, right? But then I became a friend with a bunch of homies that actually was in the league later on in life, from running from circle to circle, stuff like that. So that's how I learned. Like when you start talking to them, you learn the whole story and shit like that. Like they told me pretty much, like, man, when you go to especially when you go to a big program. Some of my homies went to University of Miami, Clemson. I got 2 homies that went to Alabama. This is like 8-1 programs, fam. You go there just to play football, because if you go to Clemson, Florida State, University of Miami, you got a good chance to make it to the league. At that point, it becomes 50-50. At that point, if you go to those programs, you see what I'm saying? Like Brian McKinney, that's my homie, that's my boy. That's my best friend cousin right there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, Chris Johnson. That's my nigga. You see what I'm saying? I mean, Chris Clemens.
Yeah. Right.
So you know what I mean? So they went to this school and because one of the things that they taught me is the relationship that the coaches from those programs, Nick Saban, I forgot the guy name from Clemson. I think
Dabo Swing.
Dabo Swing.
Yeah, Dabo.
These people actually are connected to everything in the league.
Yeah.
So let's say you was like my homie, right? One of my homie, he went the 4th round, S. Stenson, right? Yo, the only thing the Nick Saban was put on the phone call. Hey man, I need you to drop my boy. Say no more, dude. He went on the 4th round. Yes, by him making that phone call, yo, he was in the league for 6-7 years.
We missed an opportunity. You should have been doing this. You should have been the Victor Cruz, man. You should have been doing a salsa dance after touchdowns, bro. That could have been you.
Nah, I don't think I was good enough to make it to the league, bro. Like I was decent enough just for like high school level, but yeah, yo, those are premier athletes. So I ain't gonna lie. I used to sit back and watch my homies play. Nigga, yo, bro, these were monsters. This was monsters from playing on that field, fam.
Right.
It's scary when you see a 240-pound guy run 4.3, 4.4. It's scary.
Yeah. Hey,
I don't know what's more impressive. The 330-pound guys running sub-5s. That's
Mr. Bennett and Trey Ford. I give you another guy that was on that team when my son was a freshman. He was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts this year, and his last name was Adebawore from Northwestern. African kid. He went to Northwestern, right? His brother now goes to Oklahoma. His brother looks like Javon Curse, bro. 6'5",
It's a defensive end.
270, a freshman. He used to run 100 meters, 200 meters track, and he outrun my son before at that size.
God damn. Is it from
this
Florida?
the thing. How many? Listen, now if you go below the Mason-Dixon line, you'll find a lot of guys that fit that mold. It's a lot of guys down south.
Dante maybe saw this. The DeSoto player, the offensive lineman.
Oh my!
We have a dude down here. I don't know his. Dante, you may know his
junior. I forgot his name.
Oh, this dude,
massive.
He's a damn beast. He's like what, 6'8", 6'9"?
He's like 6'7", 6'8", somewhere in there.
They won the state. There was a picture of him engaged in the block. Dude, I'm telling you, it was a complete mismatch. It looked like he was blocking a toddler. I know it'll be different when he gets
supposed to be in college,
but players nowadays, the way I don't have no idea what they're going on, but they bred differently.
Especially that area.
They
man,
look different, and they come in with the athleticism that, like what KP was just bringing up. You have a dude who maybe look like he is an offensive lineman body, but the dude has a speed like a damn tight end or a lower tier receiver. It don't make no sense right now.
Clowney ran an anchor on his 4x1 in high school.
Clowney became the number one overall pick for the Texans basically because of
That's
athleticism.
what he looks like. He looks like Clowney.
Yo, Shawnee,
and with that
Shawnee,
look,
I disagree because
they're gonna get him.
When I remember Shawnee, I disagree. I think it's been going on for the longest, bro. Because when I moved to Florida, I never seen social growth, man, as a kid in my life playing football, bro. I don't know what is going on in Florida. I think they feeding them kids with steroids and hormones over there. I saw kids on the football field, fam, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. These guys were like 6'4", 280, 320, fam, running a 4.4 with no problem, fam. Florida, Texas, who else can I throw in there? Maybe I said Florida, Texas.
Guys.
I don't know. I think Florida and Texas got the biggest human beings when it comes to football, bro. High school, just high school level, bro.
Yeah, you come to Texas.
It's some guys from Georgia.
It's
some of them guys from Georgia too. That's just crazy.
I don't think they compare to Texas.
Well, actually, no. I'll say Louisiana too. I won't say they may not be as big, but the fact that Louisiana produces the most NFL players per capita by their size, and it's just like it's ridiculous. As small as it is, there's many great athletes.
Yeah, I know we got to wrap this. I know we got to wrap this up soon.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I mean,
jump
one
off
topic we want to talk about it since KP introduced the guy. I mean, certainly the names on the back of jerseys is definitely changing in the NFL and in the NBA with African immigrants, Nigerians or whatnot. They seem to be. I mean, back in the day, you knew Christian Okoye and a couple other guys, but now like a lot of these guys are definitely starting to dominate. So I wouldn't mind another show where we talk about what's going on in those communities where these guys are, starting to take. I mean, it's like, especially on O-line and D-line.
It's a lot of Haitians, though.
Not as much as Nigeria. I mean, I'm seeing a lot more Africans than Haitians, but you might.
I know two Haitians personally in the league. Frank Coys, that went to my school. He's a defensive lineman. Jeff Frank Coys, he didn't play no more. He retired now. But it's a bunch of Haitians, bro. It's a bunch of Haitians in the league. Right. So I think now it's easier for us to follow more because now with the power of social media, it's easy for you to keep to follow these people's life.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll say this: as an athlete, it don't matter what damn college you go to. With name, image, and likeness now, you can go to a D2 school and get a couple $100, couple $1,000 a week. Take your ass to college, graduate, then you can pretty much set your destiny. Go to college. I don't care.
Ball, they'll find you. If you can ball,
even if somebody said mention playing football in the military, if you go to West Point, you get to play for free. You don't cost you a dime. You'll make $120,000 once you finish serving your 4 years. So give them 8 years, make $120,000.
Set you up.
Change your life, however you want to do it.
Trey, I was slightly disappointed about the Air Force deal, but I couldn't be mad. Hey, I couldn't be mad because it wasn't my decision, Trey.
Wow, man.
Well, I say this.
Listen, man. I went to the campus, bro. I went to the campus. I was amazed. I was amazed.
Top line everything.
Bro, it was top line everything, bro. Top line everything.
They got all the money.
Nike,
They
everything.
got federal money.
Exactly. It's not a bad deal.
Fellas, I know we were talking in the private chat. This is a hell of a conversation, so I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, we gotta run this back. Gotta run this back about college.
I'm down. Absolutely.
But
I can't, especially signing day. Signing day is coming up, so we really might need to have this again, maybe after signing day. And I know the Super Bowl. I know the NBA picks up, but then it's gonna drop down.
They're gonna talk about that game. That's the only game that people gonna talk about for the next 2 weeks. That's the only thing I don't care about Super Bowl week. There's only one game, and folks is gonna run it to the ground when they talk about it. I'm like,
yo, which game? The Cowboy losing to the Green Bay, down.
We'll see y'all next week. We out next week.
We out there, man. We talking about the team. We talking about the successful team.
Hey, I came over here with some bad blood, but the conversation was so good. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna relax because I was gonna humiliate you niggas, man. I came over here with dark intentions, man. I'm gonna let you live.
Hey, I'm a real.
How about the Cowgirls?
We still rapping.
We're doing final thoughts. I have a cousin going to Oklahoma State. His name is Herbert Jones. He's an offensive lineman. He's got a 4-year ride. Big dude, man, coming out of Texas. So we'll see. Keep that name in mind.
Congrats. You got somebody to go visit and see some games, man.
You say it's a defensive lineman?
Offensive.
No, offensive.
Offensive lineman. Okay. Oklahoma State, that's a pretty big deal. That's a good program.
That's a D1.
Program, man. They recruited him out of Texas, so coming out of
Oklahoma dipping their hands on Texas, man. Everybody keep dipping their hands in Texas.
Yes, sir. All y'all damn fools are 6'5".
It's too big.
My last thing is this when it comes to
corn-fed.
Anybody want to play football? Take advantage of the new leagues that are coming in.
Yeah, it's easy when they eating like 7 pounds of steak, man, at the age of 4, bro. Of course they gonna get big like that, bro.
No steak.
Wrangling steers, y'all been wrangling steers at age 7. Come on, man. What you expect?
That's the boys and
all that's thing about football is this. If you want to play football and you don't feel like, you're going to get your first steak in the NFL, they're bringing these new leagues up. Hell, take your ass to Canada, play some Canadian football, whatever.
Next week what's the new league? The USFL,
United Football League,
USF.
That's about to start up. So
it's about to start because I want to say they drafted some guys they drafted some guys from some HBU. I know they drafted a guy from Prairie View. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's a lot of opportunity for you guys to go if you want to continue. I mean, you already got your degree. Go ahead and try to make those funds and continue your professional career as long as you can.
They got a team in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Arlington Renegades.
They kept Arlington disband one of Houston's
the Gamblers.
Teams. Yeah.
Is that Vince McMahon Lee? Is that Vince McMahon? He got something to do with it? Is that?
The Rock bought it. The Rock and his ex-wife. They bought the leagues and then
they merged it with the.
How many teams?
I got 12 now.
I think so. I forgot how much.
That's a pretty big deal then. 12 teams. That's a nice deal.
Because they're putting guys into the league. Like the kicker, the Cowboys got came from the Birmingham team, and then they got Turpin as well.
It's another vehicle to get you in the league. So hopefully they have good success on that. So
most definitely.
Fellas, I appreciate everybody for joining us. I'm at the jump off. And it's a hell of a conversation. And next week, like Mr. Bennett was letting everybody know,
Super Bowl build up.
Yeah, save your picks until the end. Let's get the information. You might want to revisit that next week. So
next week,
No. I'm gonna wait until we're gonna have a show. The Super Bowl.
We're gonna have a show. Yeah, for sure.
Featuring Papi Blanco, right? We're gonna dissect the Dallas Cowboys. From 1994, something like that. We're gonna dissect year by year what went wrong with that. And listen, no, hold on, I'm dead serious. And I want you to do the goddamn show with the New York Giants jersey on, man. Eli, the guy Manning on number 12, and I want my man Dante to wear who's the Lawrence Taylor. How about that? That's a throwback. That's a good look, right?
Hey, man,
my
are you
Cowboys
sure
hat
you
on
ain't
right now.
fatty
Good
in
throwback.
disguise? You sure you ain't fatty in disguise, man? You know, I swear.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it more recently, man. My man Justin Tuck, man. You see what I'm saying? Somebody like that, man. That man with the helmet catch. Oh, well, who you want me to give you, huh? Tiki Barber, somebody like that? Yeah, man, you can have them all, man. We got rings, y'all done, man. Sorry, bastards.
I guess on that note, man, I'll see y'all boys next week, man.
Great show, guys. See you next week.
All right, y'all.
See y'all later, family.
All right. Yep.
Next week.
Peace.